to see how can we introduce different various agricultures. For example, now if you go to
register is not a permanent. Register is not a permanent thing. So there will be different thing. So there will be different phases to that. But let's get back to engineer Umar Binderina. I hope your connection is much better. Umar Binderina, I hope your connection is much better. I would like you to land on your previous thoughts as regards the question that was asked earlier, and of course your response to the minister's comments of how those on the register would be moved out just so that they can live life better.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was just informing you on the very, very strategic and professional way that the social investment program was designed. And it was designed on a foundation of 4 clusters that had privileges and opportunities to expand very, very technically and professionally. And these 4 clusters are very, very well integrated so that you can measure whether you are conquering poverty or not. And I was telling you that you are conquering poverty or not. And I was telling you that the first cluster is this conditional cash transfer that was very, very strong. And you see, the social investment program was designed very well with the law, with care. If you're not careful in injecting new programs or creating new reforms, you will start duplicating the function of other agencies. ITF is there, they have a mandate. Bank of Agriculture is there, and so on and so on. There are many. And if you want to know more, go and read the Orosanye Committee. You will see how very easily you can start picking easy things to do, and then you start duplicating other people's functions, and then there will be chaos. So this cash transfer was designed to target very poor and vulnerable people in households. So this social register that a lot of people talk, thinking that it is data of individuals. No. The first social register, national social register, is register of houses. And these houses were not selected randomly. So I tend to disagree a little bit with the Honorable Minister. Maybe he was not very well briefed that there was no data, the things were done randomly. No, sir. Social register was generated in the states by the state people. It's national. It's not a federal social register. It's a national social register. Every state in this country has an office called SOCO, and it's a coordinating unit, and it has also a cash transfer office. The people who work in this office are civil servants of that state, and every activity of this social register was coordinated by the Ministry of Planning of that state. So it is them that actually generate this register, and this generation of the register was guided by a very high level World Bank system, because they were partly funding it. Anyway, so this social register read 10,000. And the reason why we chose the cycle of 2 months is because the logistics of doing this thing is very, very difficult. And imagine every household will have what we call a caregiver. The head of the household will now be the person who will stand in the queue to collect the 5,000 naira on behalf of the household. So this is how it was done. And the target up to the time we left was 2 million households under as the minister correctly was saying, is a beneficial register. So under the big social register, they mine, and then they also re-verify and then pay. Now, this money that is 5,000, a lot of people query that, it is just a waste of money, giving people anyhow. No. We have seen indices which has everything to do with cash transfer. It evolved a little bit. There was even what we call as the one single grant to rural women that emerged, 20,000 naira, and women were selected very carefully, and only women, purely women, and then they were given. We have seen an explosion of businesses. So this was working, and the data is there, and if you go to the NASCO office, the data is very clear. The second cluster, N-Power, is very, very important too. This targets both its youth, graduates who are graduates of tertiary institutions, graduates of secondary school, and then also totally people that have not gone to. There are 3. One is the graduate program. Now, let me tell you the difficulty with this, because we started by the allocation of 30-something billion naira to the NSIP to trigger this. I don't know. Someone has an income of 30,000. His household, they have a grant of 5,000, and gradually that is what is going to spur, maybe by the time you review the National Social Register, that house will actually graduate because things are happening there. So there are many activities under the Empower is very limited time. You jump to people who are farming in the communities, the trader money, these market people who are selling and buying, and then you have the trader money, people who are trading. Now, if you, I saw in the media, I don't know whether it's correct, that you are going to give 300,000 and then into cooperative societies. 300,000 naira in cooperative of 20, you multiply that, divide that by the 30 billion you have, you probably will see that every state will have only 7 beneficiaries. So this whole program is very expensive. It needs, I agree with the Honorable Minister, very serious technical people who are positive, who are data-oriented, who are analytical, who are constant, and you must link yourself with the state government very, very solidly. We used to have focal persons appointed by the governor. They have the same structure at the state, a program manager for school feeding.
1.4 of the 5 million are the one that have digital identity. Now, if you have the 19.5 million people that are in the household that are in the register, when you remove 1.4, almost 18.1 do not have digital identity. You understand? So what we are doing now is to see that those we are starting. I'm not saying it's the same registrar that has been done, but what we are doing now is to add it, upscale it by adding digital identity. So those 5.5 that are
on the Empower program as much as they were with the jobs that we're doing. But you see, you would respond to that. But let's talk about the school feeding program. You know, that's another issue, and you know, a lot of Nigerians raise concerns.
That puts eyes to ensure that there is quality. You understand? So, in terms of quantity or quality of the food too, well, you've mentioned that it's 300.
A crate of eggs is about 6,000 naira. Yes, so one egg is about 200.
A crate is 30 when you buy 30
naira. Yes, so one egg is about 200.
A crate is 30 when you buy 30 by
200-300 naira. That's what it is.
So you see, you understand. So what I'm just trying to say is that all those will now be reviewed. That's one. Two, you see, in terms of all these selections and these things, people tend to push blame, and they are the one to generate all those. You understand? But we have to ensure quality assurance. We must ensure that it's done to this. And then it's not just only for the enrollment I mentioned before. Yes, it's a school feeding program. There is no argument. A school feeding program, there is no argument worldwide in countries that practice.
Not just there for the food, but they get impacted with the education, which is the main.
And no ministry on its own can do it alone. Ours is a collaboration, for instance. And then, whether you want to fault everything, I think, Mr. President, security in terms of budget, and today, capital project, which include provision of all those instructional materials and many other that you are talking. Education have a budget of almost 3.5 trillion. It has never happened